Someone said, you can't fight this system. You need to build a new one that will work better, that will make the first one obsolete. So I think we all agree that we're stuck in a system that just doesn't work for us, and we want to build something new. And we're so under stress and attack from all sides that I think a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to think about what this new system could look like, what this new world would look like. In other words, what if we win? What if we win this? And I believe we will. What would our new life would be like? So since everything that is invented first needs to be an idea, it needs to be in someone's brain, and to eventually come into being. So I thought, let's put the idea in your brain of what this new world could be. And I hope you'll leave some comments and add to it, because it's just part of my vision, but I'm sure we can do even better. Okay, first of all, I heard someone, I never know when I quote people, I apologize. I never remember who said it. So it's a quote that I heard a few days ago, but basically we're trying to move from a system of relationships that we have now that is based on competition, on I win, you lose. That's basically how it works. I win, you lose. And if you think about it, everything on earth works that way. I win, you lose. So it's competition. We want to stay away from that and instead build a system based on we are one, because that is the truth. That is who we are. That is the essence of humanity. We are one. And not just humanity, everything that's alive and on the planet, in the universe is connected. If you're even just a little aware, awake, you can feel it. It's something you can feel. You just know it. It is true. So we are one. That's collaboration instead of competition. I believe we can have free energy, not this polluting system we have based on oil, or a very dangerous system based on nuclear energy, but we can have free energy. It's complicated to explain if you don't know what it is. You can Google or search, use a search engine to research free energy. I can tell you there are a lot of people right now building free energy devices, and the idea is to basically be able to give a little device that would generate enough energy for a town, a village, whatever, that would be not very costly or maybe free. I think we'll be able, if we didn't have all this political BS and warmongering and everything, we could actually use money for real things that we really need, like great humanitarian and environmental projects. There are people that want to re-green the deserts. There are people that want to clean the oceans. That can be done. There is technology to do that, but there is no political will to do it, and there will not be as long as this system is going on. Your politician will not do that. I'm sorry. Because if they try, they'll get a bullet in their heads. So we got to get rid of that system and, use the money for real stuff, things that will make our lives better and save the planet. Obviously, we need a new economic system. The one we have is just crooked. It's just built to steal as much as possible. So a new economic system would be transparent. Anyone can check what's going on, understand the transactions, everything, based on something real, either gold or metals or whatever, and controlled by the people, not by corporations like it is now. Obviously, we'll have access to new technologies in every field, basically. Right now, there are new technologies all the time, but they're pretty much all focused on entertainment. As far as the technology that we have access, I mean, if you look at everything a smartphone can do, it's pretty amazing. But what do we use it for? We use it for what it's built for, which is pretty much entertainment, or Yeah, okay, we can communicate a little bit, but let's face it, since these phones are out, people are communicating a lot less than they were before, so I don't know. I'm not crazy about that concept. So I believe we can have access to much better technology. There are already 3D printers which can do amazing things. I'll talk about this more. Obviously, cars that run on something else than oil. I'll talk about that also. I believe our human evolution can be can get a lot better, if you will. So if we weren't poisoned in our air and through vaccines and fluoride in water and our food and everything, we would have a much better IQ. Which is why we're being poisoned, to keep us dumb, because if we're smart enough, we'll understand that we don't need this system and we can have something better. So better IQ, better understanding, better communication, obviously, a better understanding of the spiritual aspect of our lives. Right now we're living through physical and mental, but that is not all there is. There's also the spiritual aspect, and all three of them are just as important and just as basically you can't have a healthy life without all three functioning. Some people say we'll have access to other abilities, maybe a sort of form of telepathy between humans. If we're all connected and we're more and more and more connected, I wouldn't be surprised if we develop something like that. I hear a lot of people talking about some form of teleportation and using quantum physics and everything. It's been demonstrated that it could be possible. Don't hold your breath. You're not going to play Nightcrawler from the X-Men in the next few weeks, I think. Obviously, the end of corruption. I've made videos saying that corruption was the #1 problem on Earth. If we don't have that, it opens the door to so many positive things. So the end of corruption would be, no more corruption in this new paradigm. That would be amazing. And I'm sure some of you are watching this saying, "End of corruption, that's impossible." Well, why are people so greedy? Because we're being stolen. Our stuff is being stolen all the time. We can't have a decent life, can't make a decent living. If everybody can have a decent life, there's no reason to steal, and it's as simple as that. I mean, come on, we get rid of the few crooks that are running the show, and we make sure everybody else is happy, and when someone is really crazy, is really a nut job, a psychopath, then we treat them instead of just beating them up even more. So I believe we can end corruption. We could finally know our true history. There are so many people that are coming up with all kinds of theories about ancient civilizations and extraterrestrials and whatever, and it's been shown that history has been remodeled by kings and popes, and I mean, just the fact that the Bible was written a few different times with different versions just tells you that maybe there's something wrong with it. So I think in this new paradigm we could finally have access to our real history and understand who we are, where we come from, and our evolution. Also, I believe a lot of hidden knowledge, occult just means hidden, could finally be revealed instead of being taught only in little secret societies and probably a lot of times just for dark motives. It could be taught everywhere, and everyone could have access to it. The end of war. What do we need war for? There hasn't been a real war for at least 100 years on Earth. It's always been like a corporate endeavor, if you will, and basically had nothing to do with freedom and nothing to do with people fighting each other. Absolutely not. It's always political, and it's always financial also. So yeah, the end of war. We could live longer. Why do we die so young? Imagine if we had clean vaccines or no vaccines, clean water, clean food, you know, access to new technologies as far as health goes, we could live a lot longer, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure we're being poisoned right now to make sure we die as young as possible. Actually, make sure we get sick as soon as we're done working, that we're old enough to not work, then we got to get sick. That's the way the system is built. Because if you're healthy and you have energy, then you can think and you can act, and that's what they don't want you to do. Also, I believe, and it goes with the "we are one" concept, we'll go back to a sort of natural law instead of these crazy laws we have now, which are all based on punishment. They're all based on, I don't know, it's a mess. Our laws are a mess, and I believe we'll go back to some kind of natural law, which is basically don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you. You can research natural law, and you'll see a lot of information. There's this guy called Mark Passio, who made a lot of conferences about that, and he's a genius, basically. If you like what I do, go watch his stuff. You'll get better info. He just has a lot of knowledge, and he made I think it's a 12-hour or 10-hour conference about natural law, and it's pretty amazing. Also, space exploration. You know, do we really believe this little rocket went to the moon and that's it? We've never done anything else worth mentioning in our space exploration? I don't believe that for 1 minute. And I think if we're free, we can explore space for real, maybe we'll have some kind of disclosure as far as extraterrestrials, and like you know, I made a video about that called extraterrestrials, and you know, I mentioned that I don't want to delve too much into that subject because it's basically waiting for a savior or waiting for someone to exterminate us, and I think delving too much into that subject is giving away a lot of our power, and we need power these days. We need power right now. So, but who knows? Once we're free, maybe we'll meet other civilizations, and that could be very, very, very good for us, I believe. Obviously, the end of slavery on Earth, you know, freedom, real, true freedom. Going back to, I don't know if we'll still have countries, but if we do, they will be real countries and not a corporate sort of, a corporate veil on top of a land, you know, which is what countries are right now. They're basically corporations that call themselves governments, but they're not countries. They're not real countries. They're not republics at all. And also, I've said we were being stolen a lot of money. Maybe I believe 80% of what we create, what we generate. Well, what if we get that money back? What if we put the crooks in jail and get that money back? We would have a shitload of money. And I don't believe for 1 minute that we need to work 40 hours a week to pay for the rent. That just makes no sense to me. In 2014, it's total nonsense. I believe we can be very, very comfortable, and with all the technology we have, and with all the, you know, with all the knowledge that we could have access to, we could live very, very comfortably. So all these things, in order to exist, they need to be invented. They need to be created. They don't exist right now on Earth. Well, some of the technology exists, but it's being hidden. So all these things need to come out. So that's why I made this video. I really hope you're going to share it, and I will probably make more videos that might sound a little bit the same, but I want this info to be out. I want people to have a vision of the kind of future we could live in. And I don't mean future in 100 years. I mean pretty soon, pretty soon. So we need to have that in mind and to communicate it to others, to say, yeah, we live in a crooked system, but we could also live in this kind of system. And wouldn't that be amazing? And is that so far-fetched that we could reach that? I don't think so. Who would have thought that there would be airplanes spraying the sky over every city in the world, you know, poisoning people? But it's being done. So why can't we do something as big but positive? So I'm sure it can be done. I'm 100% sure. So once again, thank you for listening to this. Please share my videos, and we will win this. Thank you.